World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, The Art of War. And again, for those who may be new to this, my birth name is William Anthony Rogers. So The Art of War is a play on words. And I also have studied and taught and still read Sun Tzu's Art of War as a strategic way of looking at life. So Urbanology, The Art of War, has a lot of meaning into it. So sometimes people don't know how to connect the lines. So every once in a while I do that. I am really pleased today's show. I have a chance to interview a brother that is my neighbor, but renowned trombonist and composer, has done work that you have heard and you have seen his work. And he also has been very focused on creating ways for the neighborhood to appreciate jazz in an alcohol-free environment in churches and in places where families can go and appreciate this national music that is, as many have said, is our American classical music, which is jazz. So please welcome my friend and a great individual, Craig Harris.
How you doing, Tony? How's the
Hey,
doing?
Craig, everybody is good, and I'm glad to allow for everyone to really meet you, because you are, a legend in your own time, my brother. So just briefly, because we would have to have a movie to talk about all of the stuff you are, but give the listeners a little bit of background of who Craig Harris is.
Okay, Tony, I'm a trombonist composer. I reside in Harlem. Harlem is my muse. It has been my muse. I travel around the world, but it's nothing like being home. And so I believe really it reinforced through great mentors like Dr. Ken McIntyre, Makana Ken McIntyre, Warren Smith, Sam Rivers, oh man, the lows of Muhal Richard Abrams. We have to keep the music in our community strong, going strong in our community. And no matter how far we travel, home is the base. So for years, we've been presenting concerts throughout the community in a lot of there's a lot of churches that are unused in our community. And I go and I speak to the people of the church, and we rent the churches out, and we have concerts there. And there's nothing like playing close to home. If I do a concert at the Apollo, there's nothing greater than taking a walk from the Apollo to my house. It's a sense of community, and it feeds the people as the community feeds me.
Well, it definitely is a two-way street. Now, I know that you have partnered with Carolyn Johnson, who is a wonderful tour consultant, and you guys put together the Harlem Jazz series. What is it? It's the Harlem Jazz series, which you have every Friday, I believe. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, Carolyn Johnson is my business partner and also a good friend. And we started years ago, even before Carolyn Johnson. My other organization was an organization called 3 on 3 that I formed with my neighbor, Patricia Eaton. And we would have concerts at Mount Morris Presbyterian Ascension on 122nd in Mount Morris Park. That's and preceding her, I had a friend named Glenn Sappho who had a studio on 145th and Amsterdam Avenue. We call it Shadow Images. It was on the top floor. The top floor where Rexall, the drugstore, was there. So there's this whole, for years we've been presenting art in another kind of space. Like you said, it's not in a club, so it's more open to families can come. We really want, and this is a way the young people can hear the music. Carolyn and I do our concerts presently right now at Calvary Baptist Church, which is 53 West 124th Street in Mount Morris Park. And we present concerts every Friday night from 7 to 9. And even within the COVID, it's COVID compliant. I mean, the space holds 200, but with the COVID, we may have 60 people in, every other seat, every other row, 3 in a row. So it really works really well. And you will see some of the finest music in the world there. And it's like a little oasis right there. And that's like, Tony, it just makes so much sense to work at home, to work at home. It's easy. Like I can walk 1 block. I mean, I'm not lazy, but you feel a purpose. And as you were saying, the neighbors, like a lot of my neighbors, some of the neighbors, they don't know what we do or what we do, but I always tell them, like, come on and hear some music. And I really enjoy that because these are not experts on the music. These are laymen. This is the grassroots organization. People are like Tariq, and I say Tariq or Ben, come on and hear some music. And I say, in fact, you don't even have to pay. Just come in because I want them to hear the music. I want our community. I want our children. I want our elders. I want everybody to be with the music, grow with us.
Yeah, well, I know that you've done a number of things, especially with Harlem Week. You have appeared there, but it's always good to know that your talent has not taken you away from your home base, and that happens often.
Yeah, but like I think every other day I walk across 125th Street from river to river. Just and I
You
had
do.
a friend. Yes, from River, like from
12th Avenue over
sidewalk
to
all the way to 12th, and you will see, and it's like it feeds, or I ride my bike when I get lazy, okay? But it will feeds you the just to see all the different things. You'll see every kind of ideology, every kind of language, every kind of scam, every kind of brilliant innovation. You will see the community at full force, and this has inspired a lot of my work. As my late partner in art, the great Sekou Sundiata, he said he used to, like, I'm going to 125th Street and catch some of my rhymes, catch some of my words, and go to find my words, and we find it, and it's inspiring. We take this around the world with us, and we share this around the world. So I really go to our website, welcometoharlem.com. Go to our other website, harlemjazzbox.com, and join us and partake. Community is all. It is really all.
And actually,
we have a concert, in fact, this Sunday at Mount Olivet, which is on 120 and what is that? Malcolm Boulevard. Malcolm Boulevard, right? Do a thing with 15 string players and trombone. So at 3 p.m. and it's a free concert. This one is a free concert. We have a free concert there. In December, we're going to give a series of three.
But you have to go on Eventbrite to get a ticket before, based on some of the.
Yes, in this pandemic, we have to abide by the rules and register and make sure everybody's safe in the room. So we want to know who's in the room.
But yeah, for those who are listening, though, I think Carolyn said there's going to be a limited amount of seating based on that. So, free concert with strings with Craig Harris. You might want to go on Eventbrite right after this broadcast. And it's breathe. Breathe. The code is breathe.
Situation. Because it's so funny, Tony. March 7th, last December, we had 3,000 people in Mount Olivet for a concert. And they hadn't had that kind of audience in a long time. As soon as we got road stuff like that, boom, we got a little challenge here. But we'll get past this and get back to that.
And again, the title of the concert is Breathe.
We're doing a set of concerts in December, free concerts Monday night sessions.
You broke up a little bit with that, Craig.
We'll deal with issues of the prison industry complex. We will deal with issues on climate change, and we will deal with issues on homelessness.
And that's at Setaponte on Mondays?
That's going to be in December. The first three Mondays in December. Location to be determined, because we're trying to work out. But it's called the Communiversity series. We feel our community is a university, so we would call it the Communiversity series. And every Monday night there'd be a speaker for like 30 minutes, and then there'd be a set of music for like 75 minutes. And those will be free concerts. And informing, because I feel we lost so much during the pandemic. We got to kind of reset, and I think music is the best way to do it. But the concerts at Harlem Jazz Box, people, you have to pay $20. And I really, Tony, I really appreciate you having me on the show, because we want to get the word out to our community about coming and supporting us. It's very important to us that they come, because that's why we do it. We get a lot of tourists, and that's beautiful, but it's nothing like seeing the home team there.
Well, and it's a matter of fact, I have an article coming out in the Harlem Community News called Neighborhood Jazz. And what motivated me was I was, bringing some groceries home, and I saw Carol, and she said, "What you doing?" I said, yeah, I'm just getting in. She said, hey, about 7:00, we producing a thing, I said, oh, yeah, okay. I've been meaning to go over there. So I walked over, in the neighborhood, and that's when you had the free strings. And I was, it was this, as you said, oasis. I was tired, had a long day, but, they were playing some music, with strings, and I was, it just made that night, a different type of energy, So that's why I said I got to write about this. I got to make sure that, and then, because we see each other all of the time, walking my daughter's dog,
walking your daughter's dog,
right? And she's in college now, so the dog is in trouble.
The dog going nowhere. I got that feeling this dog will be right there. But that's the whole thing of the thing, Tony, that community sense of community, because, that's how I became a musician, in the parks where I grew up, going to hear musicians and seeing musicians, and that inspired me. And even though I was enlisted, like Count Basie, I heard Count Basie, I heard all these big bands when I was young, and even when I wasn't interested, but it still was in my psychic. It got in my subconscious, and that's the beauty of it. I don't think you're gonna come and become a musician way or a thing like that, but it will be in your psychic. And the greatest thing for me is that you can't say that you didn't hear it, because it's right there. It's right there.
It's right there, and it will be there. It'll come to you again. Now, we were talking off camera, and I didn't know that you was part of the composing group that did the Black Messiah. That I didn't know that. I might have to go and watch it again now to look at that. But what other compositions have you put together during COVID?
During COVID, I wrote a piece for 20 brass instruments which is a continuing. First of all, it started Breathe. After Eric Gardner died, we had a grand concert in Mount Morris Ascension where we had 70 musicians on stage playing various instruments, and it was in to bring attention to the whole thing about injustice on African Americans with this police violence, and so we did it there. Then after we came out of the COVID and we were outdoors, we did it with 25 musicians at Brooklyn Botanical Garden. And Breathe is a series that I write that it deals with injustice. It deals with the injustice of Africans throughout the continent and throughout the diaspora. And those are the kind of pieces that I do. Also during the COVID, we were very fortunate to plan to do the Judas and the Black Messiah score, which opened avenues, and there was no more better thing to do than write. In fact, Nona Hendricks and I were working on a thing called Afrofuturism. Afrofuturism is a new word that was coded by a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, but we've been futurists forever. And there's a musician named Sun Ra. For those, I don't take it for granted that they know who he was, but he was a great man. He was born 1914, and that was my first so-called big-time gig, working with Sun Ra from 76 to 80, and traveling the spaceways. And Sun Ra was futuristic, and now there's
he sure was.
That's right, as you know. And now, Tony, after that movie, The Black Panther, which the same team that produced Judas. Everybody, all of a sudden, there was talking about these things about people from the diaspora in outer space. And Sun Ra was way ahead of his time in the 50s.
He sure was. He sure was, man. Sun Ra and George Clinton.
And to do it again. We did it. Right, exactly. Right, that's right. Clinton and Earth, Wind, and Fire, that whole the whole thing of altered destinies. So we did that. Right. We did a thing called the Nubian Ball for conscientious ballers and cultural shot callers. We did that in Montgomery Park in August. Big with So right, and that's very close to my house, and I really like that. You know, we walked in, and the tribe was out in full effect. So I'm writing all the time. I'm really it's people always say, well, you're always writing something about social issues. I write about music first, and then I apply it to social issues because the social issues usually have inspired me writing process. If I see something, it's going to come out sooner or later in some kind of musical form.
But that's interesting when you were
the art
saying
of war, I guess the art of peace, the art of sound. I'm inspired.
Yeah, the art of war is peace. That's Sun Tzu. Yeah. You know, those who understand the art of war have a better understanding of peace.
You know, you've been a warrior of a long time. This music, culture, and we need to just support you or support Urbanology. I was glad to hear that you have this station going on.
Yeah, and you, Matt, and I have to get together because one of the great things about Soul City, which there's nothing like that. There's no completely Black-owned network that has the ability to use all of these platforms on demand here and internationally. You know, I'm not sure that I mentioned it to you, but in my twilight time, I'm becoming a tour consultant and taking people to Africa and to different places and bringing people from there here. And one of the great things is that with Soul City, we can broadcast and put channels any place. Because one of the opportunities that will be presented is distribution. That's the whole point. Distribution. How can you, distribute, your content? And that's what Soul City has. That's one of the major foundations of Soul City, to be able to distribute content around the corner and around the world. And with that, with people like yourself and people who are doing things, we can take what's happening in the church and show it on demand all over, where you can pick whatever artist that you feel is going to be able to create that type of momentum as far as people wanting to pay to see in a small group. But that small group can be made global. So those are the things that, in my view, are possible. And all things happen for a reason, including you being here right now, walking with Carol. I always knew, that's the thing in the block, in Harlem, you got so much stuff going on. I said, I know, I had always said, I know, Carol, I know you guys are doing this. I'll get there. It was just that night, was there. She said, come on. And, she said, just come on and be my guest. Come on over here. It's just up the block. And I met people that I knew, and I said, man, that's what the neighborhood is about.
So important. I'm glad you came out. And remembering that we are on the world stage now because of this technology.
That's exactly. And that, there's talking about Sun Ra, and that the idea is that this is part of the evolution. All of this is not new. It's just coming back full circle. And the fact that we now have this platform that we can communicate globally in our own narrative, which is what Matt McCoy, his one of the things that he has with Soul City is creating our own narrative and being able to not only create our own narrative, but to promote our own narrative on a global stage. And we're beginning to come full circle, which is why my whole thing is to start bringing people like you to Africa so that we can really start to reconnect the relationships, because the music is already there. The music is the piece that keeps us connected.
Right. And Tony, you just hit it. I don't know, because that's been Senegal is my second home. So, I mean, I'm in.
Well, we're going in March 13th to March 20th. We're taking 40 people to Senegal,
Okay.
musicians, artists, people to start creating some connections so that we can begin to focus on that.
Right. Yeah.
So look at your schedule. Maybe you can go with us and represent the musical components and we'll do that cross exchange. And one of the things that's motivating me, in May, the Renaissance, the Marriott Renaissance is coming up on 125th Street. And that's going to be an area where you could have concerts and have different types of activities, but bring people to Harlem. Stay in a hotel, go to concerts, go to your concerts, go to different restaurants. And that's part of what my business, Art War Travel and Tours, is going to start to focus on.
Tony, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the name Ellis Hayslip.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Soul, he had this film out on Soul, but I knew Ellis, and a lot of these things, like taking our community to the world, it's time to revisit that. This guy was way ahead of the curve, and it's time to revisit that. And I envision that coming out of that space on 105th Street. Because you don't have to have a big place now with television or the technology.
Right.
You have it's a nice intimate space, and you can the species on Pluto can hear. The Plutonians will be into the music. The Saturnians, the people on Jupiter. It's throughout the world.
And there are places like the Cotton Club or Miss, where you can have an intimate setting, enough people to make it really intimate, and get the same type of revenue if you was down in Madison Square Garden if you do it right. That's on demand.
Exactly.
Now and it's coming full circle, correct? Because as you remember, musicians would go to the Apollo, but they would have to be there for a week to get what they could get downtown for a night. But they would come back up, as you know, because it was nothing like having a close set audience that you could really feel the energy. The apple, the red apple, which was on 35th Street, where the chicken place is now, because artists would go to Europe and say, we're going to meet you back at the Apple. What we can do now is turn that around. Keep those close-knit settings where people can really vibe with each other, but send it out to the universe.
Yeah.
And those are some beautiful things that, it's all possible.
Right. And another thing we were doing, but we stopped it during the COVID, we were having concerts in the houses and in the brownstones around the park. And we were having like the parlors, like we'd have the park, we'd be rocking in the parlors, and the people would come in, a little refreshments and a little appetizers, and we'd have good sets. We would have, and it's really the musicians kind of enjoy that because it's intimate. There's a pressure, but we get right to the people. And sometimes some of these houses, they're big enough, you get 40, 50 people in them. We're sitting in chairs, and that's a good night work. That's night work, Pay a modest fee to come hear it, and they really like to come into the homes and see what it's really what we really do. So
imagine being able to not only do that, but to do it and put it on demand, so people in Europe or people in Africa or people in Asia can get that feeling. What that will do is an economic development opportunity for people to come to Harlem. That's the Harlem Tourism Board. That's part of our focus, is to begin to use these new technologies to bring people here and for us to go there, especially in Africa, in the Caribbean. But I'm really focused on Africa. I really believe that like whether it's Senegal or Gambia or Egypt, or that there has to become now that connection that's to the point where we begin to redevelop something that was broken. It's almost like the science fiction. I like science fiction stuff. And there used to be this thing where these people were sleepers, and once there was a telephone. If they picked up the telephone, they didn't know who they were, but they picked up the telephone, and a certain word would be said, and all of a sudden they understand their purpose. I think that the Africans who came here as slaves became sleepers, because the ones who came here were the best, because you couldn't cross the water and not be strong, because in where we're going in Goree Island, there was so many slaves jumped off or died and were thrown overboard that it changed the feeding patterns of the sharks. So the only ones that, and they say that in Goree Island in Africa, the only ones that reached the Americas was the strongest that Africa had to produce. And and here we are.
Yeah, it's a link it's a link. It's an incredible link that we link back with the continent. In last month the Ghanaian government made a commitment to renovate the Du Bois compound, the W.E.B. Du Bois compound there. And he was here. The Ghanaian president was here. He was here when they had all the world leaders was here. And we went down there, they had official signing that they had committed with a couple of organizations to to make that a world site, that Du Bois Center in Accra. So you're right on point with all this, man. It's
plus, the citizens. Matter of fact, even now, a lot of the countries, I know Ghana started this, is that if you're American, you can look at your ancestry stuff and you can become a citizen. Marvin Kelly, our Marvin Kelly from Blafrica, he has a place in Ghana now. So people are beginning to create and understand the connection. And one of the things that is important is, and we don't understand it, there are people in Africa who want us to connect with them, but we've been misled to not understand what that means and how to deal with it. Matter of fact, I talk about this, but in promoting the trip to Senegal, one young lady, and I always say it because that's kind of like a mindset. She said, I would like to go, but when I spend my money, I like to go by where a beach is, where I can swim and do stuff like that, not knowing some of the most beautiful, clearest waters that you can find is in Senegal, and the beaches and the stuff. So we just don't know, and we've been kept ignorant. We see films of Africa as people in poverty, people, killing each other. We don't see the beautiful skyscrapers and the stuff, the creativity that's there. And we need to reconnect to that and understand it.
Right. And people have been doing it. I know, and you're one of them. I know a couple of years ago, we went to South Africa with G2AUC. About 10 years ago, Brooklyn, over the
I remember that.
And we a group of artists, and we had a festival like that's how strong it was. It wasn't a world like they had in Mafia King and up in the northern western province, and just he had incredible Hugh Masekela played, Randy Weston played, a lot of acts.
Yeah.
And they just brought us in, and we just did it like that. So you're right. This connection with the diaspora is vital at this time because it's.
And
Go on.
Senegal has a jazz festival in May.
St. Louis, right?
And St. Louis, yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Next year, I'm going to start promoting that. Maybe we'll talk about that.
And you know that the Senegalese population in Harlem is like
Big.
It's big.
That's
So,
that's why that's why Air Senegal started working with the Harlem. That's why since Air Senegal 2 months ago started their direct flight from JFK to Senegal.
They got a direct flight now?
Direct flight from JFK to Senegal. That's who we're working with for our trip. We're promoting Air Senegal.
That's my base there.
And not only do they go to Senegal, they're looking to become the major airline to go to all of the West African countries as well as others. But they leave out of New York and Baltimore and a couple of other locations. But for New York, they wanted to create a partnership with the Harlem Tourism Board because of Harlem. And that's why we're taking, about 40 people to Senegal on Air Senegal to promote Air Senegal, to promote different types of things. Like, that's why I was saying the jazz festival, Richard Cox, who recruits soccer players. He says all of the soccer players in Senegal, they go to Europe to start recruiting them. So there's a lot of stuff, art, right around the corner, home to Harlem, the art galleries. Those are things that we can look at as far as just starting there, but beginning to create some other opportunities. But give the listeners the information, again, the website, so that they can look at not only the stuff that's happening. Matter of fact, Friday the 29th, I think there's something that's at the church, and also what's going to happen on the 31st, and how they can get you, how they can get your music, how they can connect with you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the pitch. Okay, first of all, like I said, Craig Harris, trombonist. Recent score from Judas and the Black Messiah. You can get that online on all the platforms. It's a beautiful score by my co-composer Mark Isham and myself. And then going into the community activities, this Friday night on the June 29th at Calvary Baptist Church, which is 53 West 124th Street, incredible musician from Panama who has been living here a long time, Jorge Sylvester, will have his group playing. And Jorge Sylvester is always on the cutting edge, doing something very exciting with traditional rhythms and doing something to them. And he'll play one set from 7 to 9 at the church. It's $20. You have to make reservation on Harlem Jazz Box with 2x's.com. And you can also contact Welcome to Harlem and have weekly content. While you're there, you can also go to see our concert, which will be at another church, Mount Olivet, which is on 120th and Malcolm X Boulevard, right on the corner. And we're going to have a thing called Breathe, which is always a piece that I wrote for 15 string players and trombone, and just bringing attention to the social injustice of African people on the planet. And that's going to happen at 3 p.m. on Sunday. You can, like I said, the websites are welcome to Harlem.com and Harlem Jazz Box with 2x's. And please register because of the COVID situation, we have to have certain limited situations, and we have to know who's coming into the building. Also, this summer in December, we will have a series called the Communiversity Series, a site to be determined, and you just check our site. But we're gonna have 3 Monday nights of incredible concerts and speakers, and we just stay focused in the community. And as Tony's brought to my attention about this connection with Africa, we've been working on a piece called "All My Life in Search of," inspired by Dr. John Henry Clarke's book "All My Life in Search of Africa," about this connection with African Americans and African people on the continent, North American continent, and Africans on the African continent. And so we're busy, and we need your support, and we need it because it's what keeps us going. And Tony, I'd like to just really thank you for having me on the show. And you just brought up some new new things that I got to talk to you about. So I'm gonna be bugging you for a while now.
Well, that's always a great thing, and I will definitely, Fridays, um, I'm starting to put my calendar together so I can make sure that, I mean, where can you sit for $20 and hear first class jazz and music? Period. I mean, and also I went on Eventbrite as soon as I, talked to Carol. She said, "You better do that now." I said, "Okay." I went on Eventbrite, and the code word is "breathe," so that you can do the registering for the strings. And so you said your soundtrack for the Black Messiah. You can get that on Amazon and all of the other different.
All the platforms. And we have a new recording coming out called "Managing the Mask," which probably be out in mid-November, and it's dealing with what we did during the lockdown. I took 10 musicians in the studio, and we did an incredible recording. In fact, we did a residency that would be the same ensemble that we do in the residencies, but we did a residency at Calvary Baptist for all month, about in the last December. We were there every Friday night, 10 incredible musicians. And then we went into the studio and recorded. And that's another thing. I mean, we get a chance to try things out on people there. So it's our little lab. And nothing like playing music in front of people, and then you can see how people respond to it when you lay it down. You say, this don't work. This work. This don't work.
Yeah, if they getting up too often, that's something's wrong, right? Now, tell us about your work with Hulu. There's something that's coming on there, right?
Yeah, and I can't talk about it officially yet because they have those things where you're not supposed to.
Yeah, right. So we'll wait till the next show.
They say we can talk about it publicly. We'll talk with their names and stuff like that, but it's going to be very nice. It's going to be very nice.
Right. So we'll make sure. That just means that we have to have you back on.
No, we're on. We're on now because you talked about the connection. It's this connection with this community. This community is, as dark as it gets in this community, it gets twice as light. We have our dark moments, but there's 2 times light coming through. For every moment of darkness, we get 5 moments of brightness. And that's how I really see it. You can't have the dark without the light, or the light without the dark.
Well, one of the things that happens though is the light always overpowers the dark. So and for those, again, if you didn't have a pen, if you pick up the Harlem Community News, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens Community News, there's a story called Neighborhood Jazz, and it has all of the websites and phone numbers that you can, reach out to both Carolyn and Craig. So that comes out on Thursday. So you can pick one up, and you get the basic information that we've talked about. And again, this interview will be on the Harlem Tourism Board Facebook page. And the beautiful thing about this, though, Craig, is that young people, people who can't afford maybe to go downtown to a jazz concert, or may not be old enough or whatever, can come and be, in a close relationship with professional musicians, which can allow for them, because they took all of that out of the schools. So the only thing that they know about music is, what they can get on the radio. So to be able to see live, creative music, especially our classical American music, up front and close, is a great thing for a family event.
Right. And when you contact us young people, we have a student discount. Carolyn will give you information. You show your student IDs and stuff, because that is a vital part of us. We really want to extend it to the next generations behind us. That's our job here. We're here to do that.
Yeah, I was talking, Carolyn. They need to have a senior citizens discount too.
We used to do Tuesday afternoons at noon to 2. We'd have sets for the senior citizens. But I think listen, it's not if you know, like if it's a senior citizen and they have really problems, we'll work something out. Okay, because
always. I mean, which is the beautiful thing. But you know what we're talking about is these days, $20, used to be like $5. People they even on the street they don't ask you $1 no more. Hey, can you give me $5? Can you give me 20? What I'm gonna do with $1? I can't do that with $1 anymore.
You like you say, can you give me something? You give them, like I give them somebody $2. They look at me like,
what am I gonna do with that?
Really? I said, well, you got to get a job.
Now, Craig, are you appearing any place downtown, any other location, venues in the different boroughs anytime soon?
I play at Sister's Place over in Brooklyn every once in a while. So we're waiting on a congregation to see when we're going to do that. Sister's Place is on Nostrand and Jefferson, right on the corner of Nostrand and Jefferson. It's ran by the December 12th movement. Ahmed Abdullah is the artistic coordinator there. But really, since the shutdown, Tony, I've kind of acquiesced. I like the size of the space that you came in. I feel safe in those spaces there. I'm not ready to go into the caves yet. I ain't ready to go. That's kind of close. That's kind of really close. But it's soon come. But like right now, I like this Harlem. I like this Harlem thing.
Well, again, the way things are going, and based on promoting and doing stuff like that, the way it should be is that you don't have to go any place. As they say, bill a fill, and they'll come to you.
Right. That's true. And there's still some people I know, Tony, who don't go below 110th Street. I got a friend. He said, "Craig, man, when you going downtown again? You going me?" I said, "When did I say you been now?" About 4 years ago. And I don't want to get that like that, but everything, you came up with this. It was everything. You was here. It was here. Like the clubs, the major clubs were here, and we have to get back to that. I mean, major where the major.
You didn't have to go. You didn't have to go any place, and now you don't. I mean, it was like that before, but now even with shopping, you don't have. Everything that you can get downtown, you can get here. And that's going to increase itself. So, all of these things are available. But Craig, again, we appreciate you holding that mantle, holding that tradition. And again, we'll have to talk, about the whole synagogue thing, because that would be a great way to create some stuff. Matter of fact, one of the things that I want to do there is to look at the jazz festival. Matter of fact, I talked to Robin Bell from Jazzmobile, and she wasn't aware. She said, "There is?" She said, "Well, maybe we should try to work out something." So one of the tasks is to start looking at kind of connecting, their jazz festival, because most of the people go to the jazz festival from Europe.
Yeah, no. That festival is going. That festival is an icon. That festival is incredible festival. I've never played it, but I've been close to. But it's been going on for years, and it's a beautiful festival. And it's it's a world-class festival.
So those are some of the things based on Air Senegal being here now. And it's a government-run. It's a government and in a private, public entity. The receptivity of beginning to promote things, especially to African Americans and Caribbean Americans, that's where they would like to, and of course, Little Senegal is right on 116th Street.
Dakar.
Matter of fact, I was telling them I was doing shopping at the African Mart, and I said, there's a direct flight now from Senegal, from JFK to Senegal, and they didn't know. They said, "What?" Because they all start to travel around December January, February, and March. That's going home time, and now that they know, so those are some of the things that we'll be working on, and I will make sure that I make a note now that I have all your information is to keep you posted, and
Very much.
and now that you know what we're doing, what I will do is to create a meeting with you, Matt, and I. We have to do that soon because I'm sure that there's a lot of collaborations that can be done as it relates to some of the things we're doing with Soul City TV, the Harlem Tourism Board, and the like. So there's a lot of stuff. All of this happens for a reason, you know. There's no such thing as coincidence. And I'm just so happy that I was walking,
a lot of
as
people
Carolyn said,
have paved this road for us. I think it's got to continue. It's continue.
That's true. That's true at all levels. That is true. But all things happen when they're supposed to. There's a bigger picture. We're just kind of, moving parts in that bigger scheme of things. But anyway, my brother, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a lot of stuff happening. The 29th and the 31st. The next.
Yeah, this Sunday, right. Friday and Sunday. We got a lot of things going on. So stay close and love everybody.
And thank you, my brother, for taking some time to talk. We'll have you back. We'll come back when you can talk about the Hulu thing.
Okay.
All right. All right. Take care, man.
Take care.
Again, Craig Harris, trombonist extraordinaire, and a person who has a real sense of community. We have known each other for a long period of time. Through Hollow Week, he's been part of that for a long period of time. So it's always a pleasure to begin to connect the dots. And I think we're in this time now where we are able to connect the dots using our own narrative, speaking from the lips of my friend and partner, Matt McCoy. Soul City, the Soul City TV network allows for us and will continue to allow for us to connect the dots. And that's a wonderful thing. This is our time. And we're going to begin to see a lot of movement. And I hope that you guys can stay with us. We'll be back with you next week. This is Tony Rogers, the Urbanology show, which is a component from WHCR 90.3 FM. And many of you, if you have radio, there's another show that's going on now. So I'm all over the place, thanks to my friends. So you take care of yourself. We'll see you next week. And I'm out. Bye.
This is Kier Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Urbanology.